This is the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for the month of April 2025. It's currently March 22nd, 2025, 11:32 p.m. Eastern Time. Bitcoin at the time of this reading is $84,167.33. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the April reading for Bitcoin was created on March 8th, 2025 at 9:43 p.m. Eastern Time. So what we're going to cover in this video is the overall trend direction and chart behavior for the month of April. We're going to give you information, chart behavior, information about the highest high and what the chart will look like for the month's lowest low as well. We're going to give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events after we review February's reading for accuracy. We'll come back and we'll give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events. It's important to understand that it's day by day. The timing is usually on point to the day, but there'll be plenty of examples where you need to give it plus or minus 1 or 2 days of wiggle room, especially with these crypto readings that are so just volatile. So it's really important to understand it's a sequence of chart events as outlined by the prediction that you should pay the closest attention to. Timing is secondary. This is the main reason why I do not recommend trading this information without access to our monthly access subscription, which has the Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart drawings. I'll show you how to get that stuff at the end of the video. Without that stuff, this should really just be seen as entertainment purposes, a guide to what we expect to see throughout the month of April. And then at the end, after I give you the day by day, we'll give you one of the best trades that we see for the month of April. And then I'll show you how to get the subscription. Before we get into any of that, though, I want to make sure you're aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. And we do that by following through on the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the website Tarot for Traders, hover over the resources tab. 5% of all profits should be donated forward to one of these charities, effectively transmuting competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. And also fulfilling the flow of abundance, continuing it onward through the universe. 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links, expressing gratitude. It's a way to say thank you. And gratitude begets gratitude, my friends. So make sure to follow through on that. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. Following through on those rules makes you an angel investor of the channel. Universe will send it back to you tenfold for following through. Not to mention, I'm going to know you by name if you're one of the few people that actually does that, because these are the type of people I want to know in the world, people with integrity. So much love and appreciation. Blessings to all my angel investors out there. Let's get into the reading. So the overall theme and behavior for the month of April, we successfully find support. The success card is not it's not so much a directional card on its own. It could be that we break through resistance and find new support at a higher price level. It could be that we break through, we move to the downside and there's a decline that we successfully find support at the bottom. It could be both, hard to say this early in the reading, but we'll progress. It does look like it does look like we have a breakout to the upside near the high and a sharp drop from that breakout. So it's like a false breakout. So this successfully finding support, it's crossed with a prominent peak that'll stand out on a 1 month scale, or on a 1 year chart scale, I should say. Multi-day chart with 1 day candlesticks would be the scale of everything I talk about in this reading, unless otherwise specified. So this peak will stand out on a multi-day chart with 1 day candlesticks, and there'll be a sharp decline standing out from that peak, and that's crossed. So we decline and then find support at the bottom. That's speculation at this point, but that's most likely what we're going to find as we go through the reading. Behavior around the month's highest high. We have a notable rally on a multi-day scale into a key resistance on a 1 month scale minimum. We meet that resistance and then we break down with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Usually those spikes up will meet moving averages in bearish formation as their resistance. Not always, but most of the time. Something else to point out is that at the highest high for the month, there should be a significant decline. If we don't decline from the highest high significantly, like it'll stand out on a 1 year chart scale, if we don't do that, then very likely what we're doing is we're marking off this price level of the month's high as a price level that will break down through in the next significant multi-day correction. Behavior around the lowest low. We have a rally out of the lowest low for the month, increasing with momentum moving forward in time. It looks like we have a sharp decline that taking us into the low. A unicursal hexagram decline taking us into the low, and the high and the low are within close time proximity to each other as well. So I'm going to get into this in more detail as we progress, but before we do that, let's take a look at February and see how our prediction went. So we had this on the 4th. There was this resistance that we would decline from and return to. It looks like it took place on the 4th, actually. And then we went into a lowest low there on the 5th. So 1 day off. That's a good example of plus or minus. That's a lowest low thus far. We had another prominent trough that would form on the 10th. Pretty close there. You could say the 10th or the 11th was another prominent trough. We were thinking possibly another lowest low thus far, and it was close. If you take out this candlestick and you just go, or this wick, and you just go by the candlesticks, still very much on point. And then we had a highest high around the 15th. Looks like we were a day late on that. Actually, no, that really, as far as the candlestick is concerned, it's a very skinny candlestick. But that was pretty close. It wasn't a highest high per se, but it ended up being a prominent peak. We had another possible location of a highest high taking place on the 19th. And you can see on the 19th, 20th, it didn't end up being a highest high, but it was a very prominent peak. Sometimes that'll happen, especially when you have a lot of movement, price change, right on the edge of a reading, because it'll want to cut that out so that it can still give you relevant data. Hard to explain, but occasionally that'll happen. This is why we trade responsibly. This is also a very good example, guys, of why you never trade out of the money options when trading SO meta-analysis. Never, ever do that. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Please, don't do it. All right, so, and then we get into lowest lows here towards the end of the month. After that peak, I had a lowest low on the 22nd, and it looks like ended up being a few days later. We had a possibility of another lowest low on the 24th. That did come to fruition, but we went even deeper into the very end of the month. So overall, you can see these ellipses are examples of chart drawings that we update in real time. Not my best work. We have this gray ellipse. I gray them out if they end up being incorrect. But you can see the greater the ellipse, the greater the time frame of the reading that it represents. And as the ellipses get smaller and darker when they start to overlap each other, those are the highest probable locations where you see the price go. And usually there's some sort of price reversal there. And you can see we're just a few days off on this. But we did nail this on the 1 year chart scale here. We just poked into it down here, and now we're expecting to come up into highs for the month here if everything goes according to plan. Very much so. This was pretty much on point, especially if you were to open up a short position here on the 19th. As advised, either on the 18th or the 19th, we would have had you open up a short position, and you would have closed out of it on the 21st, or if you didn't like that, you could have closed out of it on the 24th. So the 21st, if you waited to the end of the day, would have been profitable. 24th would have been a lot more profitable. Either way, those were profitable trades. Just some examples of the profitable trades that we had. All right, guys, so let's get into the actual reading here. So day-by-day sequence of chart events, plus or minus a day here or there, or a day or two here or there, wiggle room in some cases, especially with crypto. Have the early access subscription if you're going to actually trade this information, or the monthly access subscription if you're actually going to trade this information. But let's get into it. So on the first, we have a notable reversal that'll stand out on a multi-day chart scale. There's an opportunity there. I may talk about it at the end of this video. We'll see. But this reversal turns into multiple reversals, back and forth, sideways fluidity along key support on the second. A lot of price change on the third. A lot of price change into and or out of a rotation along key support on a multi-day scale. And a U-shaped dip with a prominent trough. Again, everything that I talk about will be on the scale of a multi-day chart with 1 day candlesticks, unless otherwise specified. So a prominent trough here on the 4th within a U-shaped dip. So it looks like it's pretty significant move to the downside on the 3rd, sideways rotation, and then into the 4th, and then a U-shaped dip that forms, creating a prominent trough there. And then that turns into erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. On the 5th, in the midst of that, we have a prominent peak, and then a prominent trough around the cusp of the 5th, 6th, another prominent peak towards the cusp of the 6th, 7th. It looks like a lot of price change. So erratic behavior on the 6th, turning into more decline behavior on the 6th, into a trough, a prominent trough at the end of the day with a notable move to the upside, or a breakout even to the upside there, into another prominent peak on the 6th, 7th. where we break through key resistance, we stay above it briefly, break back down through it shortly thereafter with a full retracement, or not necessarily a full retracement in this case. We rally into key resistance on the 8th out of a trough, out of a prominent trough early in the day. We rally into key resistance on the 8th. And it's a disappointing failed attempt to break through key resistance because we're expecting to break through it based on the technicals preceding the 8th. We expect to break through it, but instead it's like a failure. We break through it momentarily or something like that, and then we turn around and we break down through key support. On the 9th, a rally, a notable move, and a rally out of a trough into a peak, prominent peak, and there's significant day trade opportunity there. I'll likely talk about that at the end of this video. Prominent peak and a prominent trough there, and it looks like that rally probably turns over before the end of the day on the 9th, but if not before the end of the day on the 9th, definitely by the 10th, where we decline through multiple support levels. We attempt to establish support at a prominent trough on the 11th, and I say attempt because it doesn't necessarily hold. It looks like it might hold in this case, actually, and we rally off of that support with a move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range into the 12th. But that rally it is halted by a decline through key support taking place there on the 12th. A lot of price change into a trough early in the day or on the cusp of the 12th, 13th, and then a huge breakout move to the upside into a prominent peak. So a prominent trough and a prominent peak taking place on the 13th with a sharp drop off of that peak into support early in the day on the 14th, where we do sideways rotation. That's support that's important on a 1-year chart scale. And then we do bumping along resistance sideways on the 15th with a peak towards the later part of the day, maybe just after the afternoon session. There's a prominent trough and a prominent peak taking place. Well, there's very likely a prominent peak there. There might be a prominent trough because we have a sharp decline off of the peak on the 15th, taking us into the 16th, where we decline pretty notably on the 16th into a trough early in the day on the 17th with some sideways rotation along that prominent trough, and then a big move to the upside by the end of the day on the 17th. More movement to the upside on the 18th, taking us into a prominent peak on a 1-month scale midday on the 19th at a failed attempt to break through key resistance. We then decline through key support. And then that decline through key support on the 19th turns into a rally along a diagonal trend line at some point on the 20th, at least by the end of the day on the 20th, where we have this huge move to the upside right on the cusp of the 20th and the 21st. More sideways rotation on the 21st. It looks like we end up at another trough towards the end of the day or on the cusp of the 21st, 22nd. And then it's pretty mixed back and forth behavior on the 22nd, sideways S formation within a channel with a peak towards the end of the day, and another decline on the 23rd to revisit a support level we recently met before. There's a crest somewhere towards the end of the day, more likely on the 24th. An overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels. There's an important technical price level on a 1-year chart scale minimum highlighted on the 25th. It could be at that peak or it could be at a trough there. But it's an important technical price level on a 1-year chart scale minimum. And from that price level, we have a rally on the 26th along a diagonal trend line, ending with a fast sudden move higher into a peak, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down into the 27th. Big move to the upside on the 27th out of that decline. Big move to the upside on the 27th, pushing the upper end of a range higher. Trade opportunity there on the 28th, an important range on a multi-day scale highlighted. It could be that we're bound within a range on that day, or it could mean that we're hitting the upper end of a range. And then we have bearish price swings on the 29th with a peak and a trough towards the end of the day. Likely a lot of price change covered there towards the end of the day with that bearish price swings. Sideways rotation on the 30th that ends with a fast sudden move higher out of a trough right on the cusp of the 30th in the following month. Sneak preview for May, more sideways rotation. Should be a pretty big move early in the month of May, and we'll look at that in more detail, obviously, when we get into the reading for May. All right, guys, so I'm going to give you one of the best trades that I see. Remember, guys, this is really for entertainment purposes only. This is a guide. Think of this as a guide of our expected trades, but you must have monthly access subscription with our live Discord trade alerts if you plan to trade this stuff successfully, consistently. So just don't do it on your own, guys. It's not worth the risk. Even though we're right most of the time, you'll do the silly thing that everybody does, and you'll bet the house on one trade, and you'll end up being that'll be the trade I'm wrong. It always happens that way. So don't do it. Follow along with the Discord, which I'm going to show you after this trade how to get that. All right, so here on the 13th, we should have a breakout to the upside. So there's a rally that's halted on the 12th with a decon through key support on a multi-day scale. And then we have this big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance, breaking with a breakout on a multi-day scale taking place, reaching for distant resistance. And when we have that breakout, you could open up a short position there, and you could close the short position the very next day on the 14th, early in the day when we drop to hit key resistance. There'll be like a peak that forms on the 13th and a sharp drop into a key support level, on a 1-year chart scale there on the 14th is where I would exit most likely early in the day. If you miss the opportunity to exit there, you have a good risk tolerance, you could hold tight, add to the position possibly on the 15th, and in that case, you would want to close out of the short position on the 17th. But rule of thumb, never wait for backup exits when trading SO meta-analysis. It's a much better practice just to take that profit early and then reposition those new funds into another profitable trade. And that's Bitcoin for April 2025, the public version. Now I'm going to show you guys how to get the monthly access version, where we give you all of the best trades that we expect to see, as well as the timing of the highest high and the lowest low for the month. That's how you get the early access subscription, and the monthly access subscription, where we give you all that, as well as the Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart drawings. We're also in the total access version going to look at the 1 year in relation to the 1 month and the multi-year in relation to the 1 year. All that stuff is part of monthly access. You go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over order now, click on subscriptions. You want the monthly access subscription, which gives you the monthly prediction for each of these tickers and crypto symbols here that are listed here. Gives you the monthly day-by-day sequence of chart events with the prediction for the highest high and the lowest low for the month every month as part of monthly access subscription. It gives you all the trades we expect to see, and it gives you the Discord monthly access Discord channels for each and every one of those crypto and ticker symbols, as well as a chat channel for those where you can ask questions at any time. It also gets you everything that early access gives you, which is the earliest access you can get to any of our public posts. They come out here on the early access videos link channel. It gets you the access to the live streams question channel, where people drop questions throughout the week, and on the next available live stream we get to it and we answer those questions. And it gets you the day trade alerts, where you make your money back on like 1 month's fee you make back in a trade with this information, guys. It's so reliable. It's not reliable all the time, and I show you when we're wrong. There are examples, but overall, if you just trade responsibly, consistently, you should do phenomenal with this information. Much love and appreciation to everybody that goes ahead and supports the channel with this. You guys are the reason why, you're the core reason why we're able to consistently put out this content and do this full time. Much love and appreciation. Blessings to all my angel investors. Oh, and it's monthly access currently $300 a month. This is going up, guys. This is going up in price very, very soon. So if you're lucky enough to get it at these price levels, you'll have that price for the lifetime of your subscription. Blessings to all my angel investors. You know where to go. You know what to do. I'll see you guys on the next one.